snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hi guys! So today I'm going to be reviewing two books together because together they kind of make up one storyline, and those are The Colour of Magic and The Light Fantastic. Both of these are by Terry Pratchett and they are book 1 and 2 in the Discworld series. So if you've not read these, it's definitely a good place to start in my opinion. I know a lot of people say to start with the death storyline, but I thought I would just start from the beginning and I do not regret it. I wasn't entirely sure how this was all going to go when I first started the series because I really didn't know very much about it other than that it was a very wacky world and very crazy and a lot of strange and awesome stuff was going to happen. But other than that, I really didn't know very much about it. So this is definitely going to help you guys if you don't know much about the world or aren't sure if you'll like it. So let's just get started. So book 1 is The Colour of Magic, and this book is sort of setting up the world. It's definitely got a hard task because it's quite a short book and it has to set up an entire world which 40 books have now been set in, so it's definitely got a little bit of a hard task, and I ended up only giving this one 3 stars out of 5. But I still really enjoyed it, and let me tell you why. The world that these characters live in is an alternative universe, and in this alternative universe is Discworld. Discworld is literally a giant disc which rests on top of a giant turtle and a load of elephants, and they support the world. Great Aid Chewin is the name of the turtle, and the people who live on this world really don't know very much about him or where he is taking them because he kind of flies through space and he just takes them on a journey. All they know is that he's expecting something and he's looking forward to something. That's the only thing after all of these years and years and years of study that they've ever been able to find out about where he's taking them or what he wants to do and so on. So we really don't know very much about the intentions of the world or where the world is going, but we find out a lot about the world itself. Discworld is an absolutely crazy and fun place to live on. There are all sorts of different magical elements such as wizards, there are trolls, there are dragons, there are just everything and anything you could ever want in a fantasy world has been packed into this series, and I think it's amazing how detailed yet really just fun this book is, because a lot of the time fantasies are a bit too dense or a bit too dark or they take a while to get into, but this series is one of those series that you can literally just pick up and enjoy the read as you go because it is so funny and entertaining. So these two books both focus on our two main characters for this storyline, and that is Rince Wind, who is a failed wizard. He went to the academy but he dropped out because one of the 8 great spells has lodged itself inside of his brain and he can't get it out, and therefore he can't learn any other spells. So he's pretty rubbish at magic. He's a pretty terrible wizard, but he's a very, very fun character. He's very pessimistic. He always thinks the worst of every situation. He worries an awful lot about what's going on, and he's kind of a bit more down to earth. And some of the things that they do, he's really worried. He's very funny. He's very grim in his thoughts. He doesn't want to die. He's very, very obsessed with survival. And he's always very worried that they're not going to be able to survive because they get into quite a few different situations which perhaps are tricky to get out of, to say the least. The other main character who we come across in this very, very early on in book 1 is Two Flower. Rince Wind lives in a part of the Discworld which is called Ankh-Morpork, and Two Flower comes from the other side of the world, from an entirely different city that doesn't usually visit this side of the world. So he is essentially a tourist, and he's very similar to humans. A lot of the stuff that he talks about, such as insurance, very, very foreign concepts on the disc. A lot of people have no idea what he's talking about and think he's very, very crazy. He's also absolutely the opposite of Rince Wind. He is an optimist through and through. He always thinks that they're going to get out of whatever situation they get into, and he doesn't worry about things to come. He just enjoys it in the moment. He's very, very entertaining and he's highly funny. He gets into all sorts of strange scenarios, all sorts of trouble that Rince Wind has to get him out of because of a lack of language. He doesn't know the language, so he gets into all sorts of trouble there. And he's just very, very positive about everything. So even when we, the reader, can see that he is in a dire situation, he's very upbeat and very happy, which makes it all the more fun and entertaining to read about. Rince Wind is a very unlucky character. All throughout his life, bad things have been happening. He feels like he's very downtrodden and just everything goes wrong. He's very, very unlucky in what happens to him. And he doesn't really believe in luck so much, but a lot of the time it is pure luck that gets him out of those situations as well. He is also haunted by death. Death regularly appears. He's actually a character in this series, and he regularly appears to Rince Wind and offers him death, offers him a way out. Some of these scenes were really, really interesting and highly entertaining because Death is a very funny character. He's very ironic and very interesting to read about, which was definitely cool because I love it when Death is an actual character. I think it adds a whole new dimension to the stories, and this really had that going for it, and I really, really enjoyed that aspect of this. Two Flower is a little bit naive. He's a little bit clueless about how things work, and he would definitely be taken advantage of if he was not friends with Rince Wind, because he is just so sweet but so gullible, and so he will believe anything that people tell him, including Rince Wind, who does occasionally trick him. But yes, they are a very funny pair, and together they just work really well together, and they bounce off one another all the time, and it's very, very entertaining to see their dynamic grow throughout the two stories that I read. So along the way on their journey they meet all sorts of different things, such as the gods, they meet death, they meet barbarians, a photo box with a little demon inside. It's crazy how many weird and wacky and wonderful things and creatures and places that they go to and see and meet and visit, and you just need to read this series. If you like fantasy and if you like light-hearted and fun fantasy, then this is definitely a highly, highly enjoyable series. And it absolutely amazed me just how much was packed into these tiny little books, because they are really small. They're only about 200 or so pages each, just over, so really it's not hard to get through them at all, and I would definitely recommend these to you guys. I gave this one 3 stars because it was so much to get my head around in such a short space of time, but it was very entertaining still. And then I gave this one 4 stars because this one definitely expanded upon the first, and it definitely improved on the storyline. The storyline was more solid because the world building had been established, and I definitely think that the whole series will continue to improve as I go through it, and as Terry Pratchett improves his writing style as he gets older. So I'm sure that it will only get better from here, and I'm definitely excited to carry on with the series. I probably won't be reading any more of them until June because I'm going back to uni and I don't want to really take any books with me because I'll be coming home in 6 weeks. But I will definitely be picking more of these up over the summer, and I will hopefully really, really enjoy the rest of the series. If you guys have read these books and you have read the Discworld series, definitely let me know your thoughts on them. I definitely enjoyed this. I thought they were amazing and I would highly recommend them. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that you had a really, really good Easter, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye! Me and you gonna have a little